Being the Christian chaplain at the hospital, she was called to a patient's room at night. The patient was in distress and was on a respirator. And she said, "What can I do for you?" And he communicated with her, "Please, call my rabbi." So she calls the rabbi, and she's sitting outside the room. The rabbi's in the room, and she hears, "Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad." The Shema. And as the rabbi recited the Shema, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength," the respirator started calming down, and the patient was stilled and found peace. The rabbi came out of the room. My friend told me that he sat down across from her, and she was kind of reticent about sharing her story with him because she grew up in an Orthodox Jewish home and had left her Jewish tradition for the Christian tradition. But he got the story out of her, and she shared one part of it where when she was a teenager and she went to her rabbi because she was having questions. She started singing in a Christian choir at a Christian church. And her parents didn't think anything of it because she was a teenager and they didn't think she would listen. And she heard from the sermons and from the music and from Scripture about a God that she could know that wasn't abstract, but that was personal. But that raised questions. She goes to her rabbi. "Who are you to ask questions? You're not supposed to ask questions. You're just supposed to believe. And how can you turn your back on your tradition? Don't you know this will kill your parents? Your father will have to assume that you are dead. He will bury you. You will no longer be his daughter." And that's the kind of reaction she got. So she was nervous about talking to this rabbi. And she shared this story with him, and he reached out, put his hand on her shoulder, and said, "I am so sorry. Judaism failed you. They gave you pediatric Judaism." I want to apologize today. That's what we've done in the Christian church. We've given you pediatric Christianity. Just learn the Bible stories. Just recite the creed. Don't ask questions. Don't go any further than Sunday school. Remain little children. All you need to do is believe. That's it. In the ancient church, it took, originally it took 2 years to prepare to become a Christian. All that time was spent learning Scripture and stuff like that. And after baptism on the great vigil of Easter, the newly baptized Christians were admitted to a class on the glorious mysteries. Gee, I wonder what that was. Do you know what that is? The glorious mysteries? It's where you move beyond belief to a place where you know. Where you know. This gospel lesson today probably sounds like gobbledygook. He's in me, I'm in him. His is mine, mine is his. Yours are mine, mine are yours. What is all that about? But the important word in all of that gospel is know. It's constantly repeated. That they may know you, that they may know me. See, and it ends up that they all may be one. We cannot be one if we're at the place of belief. I believe that Jesus is this way. You believe that Jesus is that way, this way, that way. And there we are. We're all divided. We're all fractured. Because we're in pediatric Christianity. But when we grow up spiritually, something that my profession has failed miserably And I'm angry about that. We failed miserably. And I'm not just talking about Episcopal priests. I'm talking about Methodist pastors. I'm talking about Roman Catholic priests and Orthodox priests. Because we're really scared to let you know what those mysteries are. To let you know God. Just believe. Just believe. That's good enough. Oh, and by the way, when the offering plate comes around, do be generous. God, help us. God, forgive us. How comforting would it be for you or me if we were the ones in that bed and our Christian priest or pastor came to our bedside and said, oh, well, you know, on the Feast of the Ascension, Jesus did rise into heaven, and he was carrying two natures. No. I think the more comforting thing would be to be present and to maybe say, Our Father who art in heaven, not out of belief, but out of knowing. And in repeating that very well-known prayer, make that presence real in the room. So calm and peace will come